Karen Bonifilio, Inner Realms, Outer Journeys. Look who's back. Ardelia's back.
Hello, everyone.
Look at behind her.
Yes.
Okay. We're going to talk about singing bowls today. I saw her setup and I just was amazed. I have one singing bowl. So we are going to find out all about the power of singing bowls today. So I'm just going to start with one question and then let you talk and then just kind of chime in when I have a question for you. How's that?
Wonderful, wonderful. And thank you for having me again on your channel. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm very
Oh,
honored to
honey,
be here.
I love having you on my channel. I seriously do. I love doing this. All right. Well, tell us what singing bowls are and how do they work?
Okay, I use the ones that are made out of brass and copper and different minerals. I don't use the glass ones because I'm always afraid that they're going to break. So I use the ones that usually out of Kathmandu and from India. And I have doing, I would say, mostly during the lockdown. That's when I started like ordering a lot of bowls because, we had a lot of time on our hands back then. And
Yes.
I contacted different sellers and I would ask for specific bowls for specific tones. Specific
Right.
tones of the bowls. And so they would then contact me a week later, a month later, 2 months later, 3 months later, and they would find me a bowl. I have a lot of bowls that are very old. We're talking about 200, 300, 350 years old.
You're kidding.
Yes, yes. These are the bowls that I have. And with my bowls, it's usually sound therapy, which means that if someone comes to my house, I will lay them on a table and I will lay the bowls on specific parts of their bodies, which is in line with the meridians, what we learn in Qigong, meridians. So that way, the sound, what it does is it penetrates through the skin and it goes through the body. It goes through the body, and then it gives your body, it helps the organs. I work a lot with the organs. That means a lot with Qigong because I do Qigong, instruct Qigong. So a lot with the meridians. And what we want is we want to bring a little bit balance into the body. Now, I know that from a scientific side, science said there's no such thing, which they call what I do pseudoscience. It's okay. I love it. I love being in this space here. And so I use the bowls, and I also use the bowls with people for meditations, which I also do myself. I use my bowls every day at home for meditation.
Every
And
day.
every day. And I have bowls that are spread out in each room. That means when I wake up in the morning, I go through the rooms. Then after I talk to my spirits on the recorder, then I take my shower, do my normal morning stuff, and I go through the rooms and I send the vibrations through the house. So every room, even the bathroom, I go through and I bring up the vibrations in the house. And I clear out what I would say stagnated energies that is just stagnant. Of course, I work with a lot of spirits, so the spirits are always around, and they are also familiar with the bowl. They've also spoken a lot on my recordings about they love the bowls. They want to hear the music. They want to sing when I play my bowls. So
Okay.
what I really use them for is for energy. And I
Okay.
use
Let
them
me
also.
ask you two questions before we go on. When you lay the bowl on someone, how do you determine what meridian that you put that on?
First of all, when I lay them on the table, first I do a small assessment. I do a small assessment by talking with them for about 5 to 10 minutes. And then that will let me know I blend into the energy, I would say, using my solar plexus. So I connect first with their aura. And that will tell me exactly where, if I'm feeling a certain tingle in my body, if I'm feeling a certain twitch, if I'm feeling a certain pain, I know
Mhm.
exactly where to lay that bulb on that person. So when I lay the person out on the table, or if I'm doing any type of distant meditation with my bowls, usually the sitter, which we call sitters, they're usually out within 4 or 5 minutes. They're gone, completely gone. Now
Wow.
I've had, yes, I've had people before, especially the men come in and they're coming in and they're strong and they're going to lay on the table and they want to keep their eyes open. They're usually going within 5 minutes. I think usually 3 to 4 minutes, the men go down faster than the women.
Oh, really?
And they go down into a really deep sleep, state of meditative sleep. And usually most of the time, I would say they're snoring through the whole session. So they don't even realize what's going on. I put them down that deep. And what I do with the bowls is first I connect the sound of the bowls to myself, and then I lay them on them. And what I do is I usually have my hands and I'll lay my hands, allow my hands to hover over the person's body. And I go by the tingles in my hands of whether or not the bowls and the energies from the bowls are actually penetrating inside not only their body, but also in the aura, because you can sense that aura. It's a lot of training, of course, when you do this, which I always say meditation is key. You always start out everything with meditation. So when you learn to
Okay.
feel your own energies and the energies around you, then you can pick up on energies that are around other people. And so I do a lot. It's like being an antenna. I sense their energies around within their aura field, and I know exactly what bowl to use, when to use the bowl. Now, there are
Okay.
times
All right.
that I use the bowls, and I will hear in my ear, Spirit will tell me, grab that one. I can hear it totally in my ear. They will tell me, use this bowl or use that bowl. So I'm working with the spirit
With the
world
spirit. Hmm.
connected with me, with my energy, with the client or the sitter that's laying on the table.
Hmm.
And that's how I use my bowls. And I usually start off first with tuning forks. Because first I always want to tune the energies that are within the room and within the person's aura, but always with my aura, because it's always a togetherness. It's never that you're working separate with the person with just the
Yes.
bowls or tuning forks. I am also a part of that journey.
Oh, okay. Okay. One other question. When you take the bowls to each room and clean it, is that like saging, but with sound?
And well, the bowls are always in the rooms.
But
So
you took it for the vibrations.
yes,
So
I have a certain yes.
okay.
I'm sorry there was
Okay.
a delay or short delay with what you were saying. Could you repeat it?
Yes. You take the have bowls in each room and use the vibration. Is that to clean the energy? Is that cleaning like smudging when you go around with sage and smudge your house?
It's almost like smudging. I don't use sage, but what I do is I lift the vibrations. I lift the vibrations in the rooms and
With the bowl.
with the bowls. Each
Got
bowl,
it.
the bowls also have, they all have different vibrations. Um, this is a special one that my husband has beside his bed at nighttime. And I
Oh,
clean this, ring this bowl 4 times, 4 times on each side, and he's out within 5 minutes.
are you kidding?
Doesn't
Really?
matter what time of the day it is, what time of the night it is. He's now, his body is in tune, his brain is in tune to the sound of the bowl, that he's out within 5 minutes. No matter what time of the day, he's out. So if I want my peace and quiet, he's laying down, I'm going there and tap on the bowls, and yeah, he's. That was just a joke. That was just a joke, but
So I can do this with my dogs
you
because
can also
they bark all the time. So maybe I should use them on my dogs.
You can also do it with your dogs, but I found with animals, with our pets, because they have very sensitive ears and they can pick up on very high vibrations. What you do is you
Yes.
want to take the bowl and you want to tap it away from the pets. And that's because
Okay.
Their ears are very sensitive.
Okay.
Yeah, I
All
can't
right.
prove that it hurts their ears, but I know for me, there are certain bowls that I use. The pitch is so high that if it's too close to my ears, where
Oh,
it gives me a little bit of pain sometimes, then I know for an animal, which is a pet, which is they have very sensitive ears. That means that they can, it really does, it could do damage to their ears. And it could
okay.
also
Thank you for
frighten them.
sharing.
It could also frighten them.
Yeah, I appreciate you telling me that.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I won't interrupt you. Keep talking, honey. Or
Oh,
do you want a question?
okay. So I have different bowls for different things. Um,
Okay.
I like to use one of my favorite bowls is the tabaki bowl. This bowl here is 250 years old. Took me 3 months to get. This bowl, a lot of therapists uses these bowls, and I noticed that in the states that there are a couple of psychotherapists that also use singing bowls within their therapy sessions for some of
Yeah.
their clients, patients. I would say I was calling everybody client, and this is bowl here. It's very flat. It's a very flat. Most of my bowls are off flat at the bottom. That means
Mm-hmm.
when it's flat, I can lay the bowl on the person without the bowl rolling off the person. And I see what I've noticed when I see a lot of people using bowls, they would just go and tap on the bowls and have someone and then maybe put it by the person. And from my experience, it's always that you tune yourself first, you tune your own aura, the energy in your aura first with the bowl,
Yes.
and that
Mm-hmm.
connects then to the person. So if I'm using a bowl on someone, I will first use it first on myself, and then that frequency is with me in my aura. Then I will put it where I need to put it. First, I always start with the ears, and then I lay it on the body. That's what I do first,
Oh,
because the
that's very
sound
cool.
travels through the ears. This bowl right here is mostly, they say it's a really healthy bowl. I would say you could use this bowl as a body bowl for everything if you have just one bowl. It doesn't really
Well,
matter what.
how do you, so someone just starting out, how do they know which bowls to get?
That's what I was just about to say. It doesn't really matter what bowl that you get. It's how you use the bowl. Because what you do is when you have a bowl with a certain frequency,
Yes.
most people, when they go shopping for a bowl, they pick a bowl, they will tap it, and then they will hear it sing, and they fall in love with the bowl. That means that that bowl is for you. So it's no specific type of bowl. So then you learn how to work with those energies from that particular bowl. That's what you do. And doesn't
Wow.
matter really what type of bowl you use. It's about how you use it and how you use it with the person that you're working on or yourself. There are many different ways to use a bowl. You can take a bowl, of course, and it all depends on the strikers. We call these strikers. These are strikers.
Okay.
Different strikers. I have a whole basket full of strikers. Big ones, small ones. Depends on what I use for what I use for. A
That's
lot of different
huge.
strikers. And with the different size strikers, they give different frequencies. So if I'm just sitting around and I'm just tapping on a bowl, I'll have a different sound as opposed to if I'm going to make the bowl sing.
Right. Okay.
And this is when I'm making the bowl sing. I'm taking the striker and I'm going strictly around the bowl and I'm making the bowl sing. This is when it's singing.
Is there a trick to making it sing when you're going around it?
Um, I would tell people what you do when you hold the striker, you you press it on the edge of the bowl. Now, if you just want to just tap on the bowl, you never tap on the bowl right at the rim because you can crack the bowl. If the bowl
Oh.
if the bowl gets cracked, it's not going to sing, it's not going to play, and the vibrations and the sound's going to go off. So I always tap it on the side of the bowl. But to make the bowl sing, you just want to press. It's almost like stirring a cake. Before you bake a cake, you're stirring the cake and you're making the bowl sing. And it's
Sometimes
singing.
I can't get it to sing.
You have to do it very slow, but you're also
Okay.
pushing the striker against the bowl. You're pushing the striker against the bowl.
Okay.
And
I'm
that's
gonna
what makes the bowl sing. But you have to go slow. If you go too fast, the bowl will vibrate too fast. If it vibrates too fast, it gets the sound gets kind of bumpy. So you always want to keep it very slow. But I'm also pressing on the bowl with my striker.
Okay.
Now, I have my hands always, but I have very long fingers. I'm not covering the bowl up. I'm giving the bowl space that it vibrates. I have different bowls for different things. If we use a larger bowl, here's a larger bowl, it's very heavy. You can put these on your head. You can put these on your head.
Seriously.
But I would tell people, if you have metal in your body, some people have metals in their neck, metals in their hips or something, then you don't put the ball on the person. Because those vibrations, they cause electrical currents. And people can get electrocuted. You can damage a person by causing these electrical frequencies to go in their body if they have any type of pens or anything that's in the head, or if they have pacemakers in the heart. I don't lay the bowls on the body at all. I keep the bowls at a very long distance away from the person. And I don't lay them on them because these vibrations can interrupt the pacemaker. Or if they have a pin in their neck, I would never touch them with the singing bowl or a tuning fork, because those are vibrations that are going in your body, and they could cause a certain type of electrical current, which can really cause harm to the person.
So it sounds like you're trying to do some type of healing with the singing bowls. Would that be correct?
Yes, you are doing healing, and you are giving them. What you're doing is these bowls. If you do it the right way, if you lay them in the right place, you can lay them on muscles. You can lay them also on muscles. People have like muscle cramps, and they will become very relaxed. Like I said before, within 5 minutes, everybody's asleep. I've never had anyone that was up past 10 minutes when I had them on the table. Nobody. Even if I'm doing a distant bowl session with someone online, where I will just connect with them via WhatsApp or through Messenger, through a video, and they put their earphones on. They're usually out within 4 to 5 minutes. And I just scream, "Hello, wake up!" to wake them back up, because they're totally gone.
So Ardelia, people can contact you and you can do this remotely with them.
Yes, I can do it remotely.
I didn't know that.
Yes. And when I meet people with the bowls, it's always about intentions. If they are wanting to connect to their spirit guides or to the spirit world, then I will play certain bowls, certain tunes, certain frequencies that will take them into a deep sleep while we're on the video. And I've had people before, they've met their loved ones, they've met their spirit guides, they've journeyed off into the astral world or wherever they went, wherever it took them. And usually after this, usually 2 or 3, 4 days later, they will usually start getting or experiencing some type of spiritual activity. Nothing nefarious, nothing naughty, nothing negative, but it will somehow open up their energy, and they will start experiencing connections with the other side.
And I think everybody wants to meet their spirit guides. I've had so many people that talk about that. They want to know their names and they want to meet them. So that's
Yes,
very cool. You can do that.
yes,
So it has a lot of different things you can use it for.
yes, yes, you can. And so, for your viewers out there, if someone has a large bowl like this and it's not too heavy, what you do is, I want to give a tip. You put it on your head.
Okay.
If I have a client come over, I have little shower caps that they put on, so that way it covers, so everything stays clean. I love to use shower caps. If they have glasses, of course, I have them take off the glasses. What I'll do is I would place the bowl on top of their head, and I would put my finger right in the middle, and I would just slowly tap. I would slowly hold on. It's not going to probably work today because I have a ball in my
Your
head.
hair's all put back. Yeah.
And I slowly tap on four sides, and they usually, you will feel the vibrations go all the way down to the solar plexus, all the way down to the stomach. It's where you will feel the vibration if you use a stomach, if you use one on the head. Now I do have
I'm
a
going to see if
special,
my bowl will fit on my head.
yes, but I try not to get too heavy. Now I do have certain bowls that I use for certain spiritual, I would say, ceremonies like full moon, or if I'm working in a spiritual, I would say occult. Occult is anything that's usually tarot cards, that's necromancy. Everything is occult, really, when you think about it. Occult just means that you're working with the spirit world. That's how I see it. Now I have this bowl here. This is Kali. This is the Kali bowl. I had this one
Oh
special
my
made for me.
Lord.
And
Those
you have
carvings are beautiful.
the Hindu goddess in here. She is the Kali. She is the fierce deity, and she comes in when I am chanting or praying or doing a certain ceremony with her. And
Uh-huh.
she will come in, and I will sing a certain chant. And this was specially made for me.
That's
It
beautiful.
took
It
them.
is
It took them 2 months.
beautiful.
It took me 2 months to wait for my bowl, and it finally came in. And this, she comes in like a roar. It's a very dark. It's not dark. I wouldn't say dark, but it's a very low vibration. I would say it's going into the earth chakra. So you could use this for
Oh,
really grounding, root chakra. And it's a very
love that.
deep sound. Very deep sound.
Beautiful.
I call it dark. It's not dark, but still, because some people like to have like the really ding, 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 ding. But sometimes you have to work with the lower chakras. You
I
have to
love
work with
that
the lower
sound.
chakras. The grounding chakras are very important. And I also have one of my favorite bowls that I always use is my foot bowl. And so if I have clients come over, they will put on little plastic shoes, and it's very,
Okay.
very heavy. It's a foot bowl,
It looks heavy.
and it's very heavy, and they will get in it. They will stand inside of it. After putting on
Wait a
that little
second. Wait a
plastic,
second. Wait a second. They get inside of that?
they stand in it. You stand in it. On the
Okay.
floor. You stand in it, and then
Okay.
I will walk around it. I will say a specific chant, or a specific chant with words within me. And while they're standing in it, they will feel the vibrations. If their chakras, if their aura is clear, and there's a clear passage, I will put my hands on the back of their neck. And if I feel that the vibrations are going from their foot up to the neck, I know that all the chakras are clear.
Oh,
So what I'm
wow.
doing is I'm clearing out everything that's, I would say, stagnated energy. I work a lot with energy
That's so
and,
cool.
and feel it. And that's what I
I
put.
wish you lived closer.
I know, I know, you'll be in a daze all day. So that's what I use the football for. I only use it for this. I only use it to stand it. I try to
Mhm.
stand in it every morning. Or my break at lunchtime, I will stand in the bowl, and I will stand, or we have dinner guests come over sometimes, they'll just stand in the bowl, and they won't stand in the bowl. And then also I have my gong, which is on this side right here.
That gong's pretty cool. We can we see that, or
And
I
I
don't.
use it. Uh, I'm scared of spiders. I have a
Your
little spider.
room
After the spider
is
crawling up the chair.
stellar.
So I'm not going to be mean to the spider. I'm going to let it keep crawling. But normally, if I was here alone, I'll run. I'll take off running. So I'm going to
Okay.
be cool and eat the spider that's just on the table. Let's see if I can pick it up. Very heavy. Let's see.
I'm sorry.
It's
Ah,
okay.
look at that.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous.
And I use it if I'm doing a session at home, or if I have, let's say, some energies after reading, I will gong it and I will stand in front of it. And you can feel all the vibrations will go in the back of your back, or if you're standing in the front of it, and all the vibrations you feel. So I use that
I
also to clear the energy.
I know what you're talking about because there was one at a metaphysical store, and that guy hit that gong, and it's like, whoa! You could just feel the waves coming at you.
You can feel the waves. You can.
Yeah.
Sometimes at night, I sat here and spirits would tap on it. Be sitting in the other room and out here, their little fingernails or whatever they're touching, and they'll actually tap on the gong. Sometimes they'll come past and they'll ting really light on my bowls.
Okay.
So those are the bowls that I usually use for different things. I have different ones, different sizes. I have universal bowls that I use, and they have the sounds that are a lot higher, that go up to like
Right.
5,000. So they're very high. I think the highest bowl that I have was the Naga bowl. This is a very high intensity, very high frequency bowl. So you can't really put it to your ear because it pierces through your ear. It's so high. Now
Mm,
I tried to get the whole set. They couldn't find the whole set for me, but I was so lucky that they was able to find me one bowl. It's
very
a
cool.
very high sounding bowl, very high.
Oh, it is. Yes.
And I use this mostly for the third eye and the crown chakra.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say that I have someone that I'm working with and they are trying to raise their energies and they want to connect with their spirit guides. And if they come to me, I will use this bowl for this sound. Now I can also do this at a distance, because what I do is if I ring this bowl, the spirit world, my spirit team would take these vibrations, don't know how they do it, haven't figured out yet, and they will send them to the person at a distance.
Okay.
They will still experience the sound of the bowls, and that's how I mainly work. I have
Beautiful.
bowls for everything.
Well, let's talk about the tuning forks too, because we haven't hit that yet.
Yes, those are my favorite tools. I love sound. I love sound and energy and
You do.
frequencies and vibrations and everything like this. I have lots of tuning forks. I probably have over 80, maybe 100 altogether. And I have them all over the place. They're in every drawer. They're in every cupboard. They're everywhere. I've loaned some out to people. Some of them I forgot even who I gave them, who I loaned them out to. But eventually they'll bring them back. I
Mm-hmm.
use a lot of tuning forks. And I use this together with the singing bowls. I
Oh,
usually start out first with the tuning forks. And I do this, it's to first get a ground or a base of what type of energy I'm working with if I'm working with someone.
okay.
Very important. But the trick is you can also use the tuning forks to raise the vibrations in your rooms. You can use the same tuning forks, just like the bowls, to raise the vibrations within a space in order to lift your vibrations, or I would say expand your vibrations. I hate to say the word lift because we don't know exactly where we're lifting. So I like to say expand your energies in order for the spirit world to step into your energies and communicate with you. So I have tuning forks For everything. I have ones that you use on the body. The ones that I use on the body, they usually look like this. They usually had these things on the bottom. These things on the
Oh,
and they're very short here. They're very short. That means that you have, if they're this long, you usually have to hold them at the bottom. So you usually get your hands usually get tired. These are the biosonic ones. I'm not sure if the company is still active in the States. They came from the States. And these are really easy to use because you bang on, you can't really hear them. They're very low. These are very low ones. They're for the bodies. They're for the body. That means I'll usually use them in the wrist area, on the hand. I will use them on the third eye area. I will use them on the center of the chakras. But usually if I'm sitting with someone, I will tell people, ask the person when you can touch them. But usually I ask them this before they lay down, because when they lay down 5 minutes, they're sleeping and they're very vulnerable at that time because they're not aware of what you're doing. So I always tell people, if you work with a client or a sitter and they happen to doze off, which most of them will, you make sure that you get permission first before you start the session.
yes.
Can I have permission to touch your foot? Can I have permission to touch your hand while you're sleeping? Because this is the time when the people are very vulnerable. And you want to make sure that they're able to trust you.
Right.
When you're touching them, especially if I'm working with the opposite sex, a man. I want to make sure that I have permission that I can touch your arm. It's okay to lay the bowl on your stomach or on your chest. Can I touch your leg? Just to make sure you show the person respect. That's all.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
want to make sure, because people could be sleeping and you could accidentally touch their arm and they could wake up in shock, and they don't
Right.
they don't know where they are, and you want to
Yeah.
make sure that they understand. Can I touch you? I always tell people, make sure you ask the sitter, am I allowed to touch you if needed? And so these type of tuning forks, you use them, but you will put them on the body. On the body. That means that the vibrations will come from here and they will come down through the stem, and you
I
can
wondered about those.
feel it in the body. The ones that I use that I don't have to touch the body, this is 396 hertz. And I always have to make sure that I mix the right hertz with the right sound, because sometimes you can mix a certain hertz frequency and it sounds horrible. And you want to make sure that the sitter or the client is comfortable. This is 528. We call this always the golden frequency, the 528. This is the earth frequency, the 528. And so when I put these together, it's a certain sound. But what I do with these, because they're different from these, is the energy is directed from the tip of the tuning fork. And anything that I use with the person, before I use it on them, I will first connect with myself, and then I will connect with them. And usually what I do is I hoover around or over their body. First, I always start with the ears. I always tell people, start with the ears. Don't put it right on the ears. Put it and you walk it. You move it slowly towards their ear. And then from there, you can hoover around the person's body when they're laying on the table. A quicker way to do it is to get one of these. It's a ball with holes in it. And
Oh,
you can stick your tuning forks on there. Let's just say if you want to have just a session where it's really easy. And with something like this, I just will take, these are the sonic ones. And I will take these right here. This is 5. This is the 528. I try to mix the frequencies. This is a 384. I have a 288. I have here a 320, and I have here 3,413 is the frequency. So this is high.
that's really cool.
Right
I
here.
haven't seen that.
And I have to make sure that I mix the right frequencies with the right amount of tuning forks to match that person. And with this right here, it's very easy to use because you can take this right here and you can just swing it around, tap it, and you can put it on the person like this and let the person feel the energies on them. So you have to remember, usually they're sleeping. They're sleeping already. So that means they have no idea what you were doing. Majority of the time, they're in dreamland. They're somewhere in dreamland, and they have no idea. So they are really trusting you with their energies, which is very important. They're trusting you with their complete person. So you have to make sure that you stay on steady course. You make sure that you have a lot of water already inside of you before you start the session. And you want to make sure you give them the best session that you can give them with
So
what
when
you're doing.
they wake up, are they refreshed and feeling better, or?
Um, Usually when I wake them up, when I'm finished, I usually, if they're here with me on the table or if they're distant, they usually don't wake up right away. They don't just wake up. And what I do,
Oh,
I'll just sit and I'll wait at least 20 minutes. Sometimes I wait 30 minutes for them to wake up and I'll slowly call their name, slowly call their name,
oh, wow.
ask them to come back. And then if they're here with me, they would just lay on the table and I'll go back downstairs. I make sure the table's not too high and just let them just come back when they can come back. I don't want to shake them and wake them up and say, hey, your time is up. You need to get up and go. I don't do
Oh
this with
my
anybody.
God.
I let them slowly wake up. And usually when they come back, they're pretty, what would say, groggy. They're in between,
Yeah.
in the physical, in between the dream. I've had people that have awakened. Some of them will start crying. They get very emotional. And usually I'll still give them that space. That means I don't intervene with them in that emotional state. I just step away and let them deal with the emotions themselves. It's always important first before I
Yes.
ask them if you want to talk about it. Sometimes they want to talk about it. Sometimes they don't want to talk about it. Sometimes they wake up and they have plans. Um, and I always tell them, whatever you're thinking or planning on doing, go home first and let those thoughts sit with you first for a couple of days before you take action. Let
Oh, good
those
idea.
thoughts sit with you first. You go home, don't eat very heavy, keep your stomach light, drink lots of water. Most of the time when people they have sessions with me, they would go home and they would sleep. They sleep all the way through. They would sleep. A lot of them have dreams about different things. And I always think that they're going maybe into the astral world. So I tell them to keep a small notes of what you're dreaming when you wake up. What do you feel when you wake up? Who did you see? Did you get any names of the people that you had in your dreams? Because most of the time they're spirits that are then coming. Because what I do is my goal is to, if you want to become open, I am going to open you up with the help of my spirit team. So
Very
that means we're
nice.
going to open you up. Open you up means that I cannot guarantee what's going to happen when I open you up because it's going to be based on your intentions. Yeah. But my goal is to use the singing bowls and use the sounds and the energies to open up your aura and bring you to a higher state. That means that when you start getting dealing with spirits, or you start getting connections, or you start feeling, you start dreaming about spirits. What I always tell the people is to make notes. Take a book, a piece of paper, or notebook, and write down your experiences. Because majority of the time, you will meet your spirit guide on your own. You will meet your spirit guide. You will get a message from the spirit world through the process. And the process doesn't just happen the first day after we have the bowl session. It usually takes us 4 or
Yes.
5 days. And let the energies work with you. And
Wow.
you will eventually
Wow.
get to where you need to get.
Okay. This is
You'll get
fascinating.
there.
We have to wrap up a little bit. Is there anything else that you want to say about the tuning forks or the singing bowls or anything that we've been discussing?
With no really everyone that uses, if you want to use a singing bowl, what you do is singing bowl can really help you, can really balance your own energies. You don't have to buy an expensive singing bowl. You don't have to have a singing bowl that's 1,000 years old or something like this. You get one that at least carries a tone for at least, I would say, 1 minute. You want a singing bowl that's going to at least carry a tone for at least 1 minute. Then you know that you have a good quality bowl. So a bowl doesn't cost that much money. Just get one bowl and you can work with that energy from that bowl, that frequency, and you can use it on your whole body. You can use it on your pets. You can use it on your friends before you decide to go and buy lots of bowls.
Mm-hmm.
Sellers
Mm-hmm.
that offer the chakra bowls. They have a set with all the chakras. And they will tell you, okay, this bowl right here has a specific frequency for this chakra. This one has it for this. But if you check it, it's not going to ever be a definite frequency. So you can just get one bowl and you can take one bowl and learn how to work with that frequency and use it for your entire being.
That's very doable for people too. Yeah, to start out, especially.
Very doable for one bowl.
Yeah.
For meditation, you can tell your spirits before you go into meditation or before you go into prayer. Some people pray to talk with the spirit world. Let the spirit world know, as I always tell people, tip. You tap the bowl and you let the spirits know, I'm opening up now and I'm ready for communication. That's a trick that
I'm using that tomorrow. I'm doing that tomorrow. Because these are really good tips. Thank you.
You're giving them the indication that you're ready to communicate.
I'm going to do it tonight too because I like to watch the orbs on my camera, and
Yeah.
I can think of a whole bunch of uses for my bowl. And I know what's going to happen is I'm going to want to get more bowls, and I have tuning forks. So I got to pull those out and start working with those too.
Use them. They do wonders. They do wonders. I don't care what anybody say about anything that's against anything. I would always tell people just to try it out. Try it out. It's energy. We're made of energy.
All right. You are fascinating. You know that? You are
You are
fascinating.
too. Everybody's fascinating. I always say everybody's fascinating. Everybody. And that's why we're here.
You're okay. So I thank you for coming on. I always love when you come on the channel. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much.